Have you ever wondered why Americans earning $80,000 a year often struggle financially, while some Japanese families thrive on half that income? The secret isn't earning more. It's a completely different approach to money management that most Westerners have never encountered. I've spent 20 years studying global financial practices, and what I discovered in Japan transformed my understanding of wealth. While the average American saves just 5% of their income, Japanese households consistently save 20 to 30%, even in expensive cities like Tokyo. This isn't about extreme frugality or depriving yourself. It's about a sophisticated approach to money that feels liberating rather than restrictive. Think about your current financial situation. Do you find yourself earning more each year but somehow never getting ahead? Do you look at your bank account at month's end wondering where your money actually went? This financial anxiety isn't just about numbers. It's affecting your relationships, your health, and your future. The traditional American advice of earn more, invest in stocks, cut out coffee, clearly isn't solving the problem. In Master Your Money, 5 life-changing Japanese financial principles, I'll reveal the practical systems that have helped Japanese households build financial security for generations. These aren't theoretical concepts. They're actionable techniques you can implement immediately, regardless of your income level. By watching this entire video, you'll discover the Kakeibo journaling system that automatically increases your savings rate. How Japanese households make spending decisions that feel abundant rather than deprived. The household CFO approach that transforms how couples handle money. Why conscious consumption creates both wealth and happiness. How to build silent wealth that grows steadily without stress or constant attention. I'll also share how Sarah, a marketing manager from Chicago, implemented these principles and eliminated $22,000 in credit card debt in just 14 months while actually improving her quality of life. Stay until the end, because I'll provide a step-by-step implementation guide that you can start using today. No special apps or tools required. This system works whether you're single, married, earning $40,000 or $200,000. If you're ready to transform your relationship with money and build real financial security, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment saying Kakeibo, so I know you're committed to mastering these principles. Let's dive into the financial wisdom that could change everything about how you handle money. Section 1. The Mindset Revolution. In America, we often view money primarily as a symbol of success or a tool for consumption. We focus intensely on earning more, yet satisfaction remains elusive. The Japanese approach flips this equation entirely. Money isn't primarily about status or purchasing power. It's about security, independence, and alignment with deeper values. This mindset difference explains why a Tokyo family earning a modest income can feel financially secure, while many American households earning 6 figures live with constant money anxiety. It's not about the numbers, it's about the relationship. Take the concept of motenai, the belief that waste is disrespectful. This isn't just about physical waste like throwing away food. It extends to wasting money on purchases that don't bring lasting value. When making buying decisions, many Japanese people ask not just, "Can I afford this?" but "Will this bring lasting value to my life?" This simple shift changes everything. I witnessed this firsthand with my friend Keiko. Walking through an upscale Tokyo department store, she admired a beautiful handbag. When I suggested she buy it, it was well within her budget. She smiled and said, "It's lovely, but it doesn't align with my life priorities right now." There was no sense of deprivation in her voice, only clarity. This wasn't about denying herself something nice, it was about conscious alignment with what truly mattered to her. This perspective transforms financial decisions from restrictions to choices aligned with your authentic values. It's liberating rather than limiting. Consider how this might look in your own life. Emily, a marketing executive in Boston, adopted this approach after struggling with perpetual financial stress despite her generous salary. She began by identifying her core values: family security, creative expression, and environmental sustainability. She then reviewed her spending through this lens. The results were striking. Emily realized she was spending significantly on items and experiences that didn't actually align with what mattered most to her. By redirecting her resources toward her true priorities, she increased her savings rate from 5% to 24%, while simultaneously feeling more fulfilled by her spending. This wasn't about cutting back, it was about realignment. I believe this value-centered approach to money is what many Americans are missing. We're often taught tactical financial advice: invest in index funds, cut unnecessary expenses, increase your income, without addressing the fundamental relationship with money that drives our decisions. What values matter most in your life? How might your spending change if every dollar were aligned with those priorities? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. This conversation about values and money is one we don't have often enough in American culture. The Japanese mindset teaches us that financial well-being isn't just about having more, it's about aligning what we have with what truly matters. This foundation makes all other financial strategies more effective and sustainable. Section 2. Kakeibo Mastery. Let me introduce you to a powerful Japanese money management system that transformed my own finances. Kakeibo, pronounced Kakeibo, is a century-old journaling method that increases savings without complex budgeting software or financial advisors. What makes it remarkable is its simplicity and emotional intelligence. When I first discovered Kakeibo, I was skeptical. How could something so basic, essentially a paper journal with 4 categories, outperform sophisticated apps? But after implementing it for 3 months, my savings rate increased from 8% to 23% without feeling restricted. The magic isn't in the tool itself, but in the mindfulness it creates. Unlike Western budgeting, which focuses on restriction, Kakeibo centers on awareness. At its heart are 4 simple questions. How much money do you have? How much would you like to save? How much are you spending? How can you improve? By physically writing down every expense, you create a powerful pause between impulse and purchase. Consider Michael, an engineering manager from Seattle who tried every budgeting app available but still struggled with overspending. His turning point came when he implemented a modified Kakeibo system. Something changed when I started writing everything down, he told me. The physical act of recording a $45 dinner made me consider whether it aligned with my priorities in a way that automated tracking never did. Within 6 months, Michael eliminated $14,000 in credit card debt while maintaining the social activities that mattered most to him. The key wasn't spending less, it was spending with intention. What I find most valuable about Kakeibo is its emotional awareness. Unlike Western budgeting that categorizes expenses as needs versus wants, Kakeibo acknowledges 4 categories: survival housing, groceries, optional, dining out, entertainment, culture, books, museums, and unexpected medical repairs. This nuanced approach recognizes that some non-essential expenses are deeply meaningful and worth preserving. You don't need to adopt the entire Japanese system to benefit from its wisdom. Even implementing a simplified version can be transformative. For 2 weeks, try keeping a small notebook with you and pause before each purchase to write it down. You'll likely notice patterns and impulses you weren't previously aware of. Have you ever tried tracking your expenses by hand, even for a short period? I'm curious about your experience. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Section 3. Purposeful spending. The Japanese concept of purposeful spending could be an antidote to American consumer culture. Instead of focusing on buying less, they emphasize buying better, a subtle but powerful difference that changes everything about your relationship with money. I was struck by this principle when I visited a Japanese friend's apartment in Kyoto. Akira lives in a modest space with relatively few furnishings, but each item is carefully selected and of remarkable quality. His kitchen has only a few fine knives that he has owned for decades. His wardrobe is limited but timeless. Nothing there is random or impulsive. When I asked him about his approach, he shared something I'll never forget. I own few things, but I don't feel deprived. Each item brings me joy through its beauty, function, or meaning. Why would I want to surround myself with things that don't matter to me? This philosophy, sometimes called Ichigo Ichi, or one opportunity, one encounter, sees each purchase as a meaningful choice, rather than a casual transaction. It's about thoughtful choice, rather than accumulation. Contrast this with the typical American approach. We tend to buy impulsively, constantly accumulate, and often throw away. Our homes are filled with items that satisfy our momentary cravings, but offer little lasting value. Not only does this drain our finances, it also creates physical and mental clutter that affects our health. This isn't about extreme minimalism or denying yourself pleasures. It's about making sure your resources flow to what truly enhances your life. When your home is filled with only things that have a purpose or bring you joy, you experience abundance that has nothing to do with quantity. What would change if you approached your next purchase with this mindset? Would you still buy it? Would you invest in a higher quality, more durable version? I'd love to hear your thoughts on purposeful spending in the comments. Section 4. The Household CFO Model. There is an approach to financial management in Japan that often surprises Americans but yields surprising results. In many Japanese households, one person serves as the family's CFO, overseeing all financial matters from daily expenses to long-term investments. Traditionally, this role has fallen to women, who manage the household finances with remarkable efficiency. When I first learned about this system, I was skeptical about its relevance to modern American couples. However, after studying dozens of financially successful households, I have come to see its wisdom when adjusted to contemporary relationships and values. At its core, this model recognizes that managing finances requires focus and clear accountability. By designating a household CFO, Japanese families avoid the financial ambiguity that plagues many American couples, where someone is expected to handle bills, savings, and investments, but the details are left out. Let me share how James and Mia, a dual-career couple in Chicago, adapted this concept. After years of financial stress and missed opportunities, they decided to implement their own version of the household CFO model. As the partner was more involved in financial planning, Mia took primary responsibility for their finances, while James focused on advancing his career. They established clear lines of responsibility. Mia would manage bill payments, investments, and savings goals, while James would contribute his insights during monthly financial reviews. Importantly, they provided each other with personal spending without accountability, maintaining autonomy while still maintaining a shared financial bond. Within a year, their savings rate doubled, their money conversations became less contentious, and they made significant progress toward their goal of early retirement. As James told me, having clear roles removed the constant stress of who was supposed to handle what. We now operate as a business with purpose and clarity. This approach works for single individuals, too. By separating your roles as family CEO, making strategic life decisions, and family CFO, implementing financial systems, you can bring clarity and purpose to your money management. The key insight isn't about gender roles or control. It's about removing the ambiguity that leads to financial drift. One person needs clear authority and responsibility to execute your financial plan, although major decisions should involve all stakeholders. Have you tried designating specific financial roles in your household? Or if you're single, do you set aside time to be your own CFO? Share your experiences in the comments. Section 5. Silent Wealth Principles. There's a Japanese concept called Himitsu no Kane, secret money, that reveals a profound cultural difference in how wealth is viewed and built. While American culture often celebrates visible wealth through luxury displays, Japanese financial success tends to remain largely invisible, growing quietly over decades. This principle transformed my understanding of wealth building when I interviewed Takashi, a seemingly modest shopkeeper in Tokyo. His simple lifestyle gave no indication of his financial situation until he mentioned almost casually that he owned his shop building and 5 additional properties in prime Tokyo locations. His wealth, accumulated over decades through patient investing, wasn't displayed through luxury cars or designer clothes. It was working silently for him. This approach to silent wealth offers powerful lessons for Americans caught in the consumption treadmill. By focusing on assets that appreciate rather than depreciate, Japanese investors often build substantial fortunes without high incomes. They prioritize what financial experts call stealth wealth, assets that generate income or appreciate without requiring active management or status display. Consider the contrasting stories of 2 former classmates I interviewed. Mark pursued the traditional American success symbols: luxury cars, upscale addresses, exclusive vacations, all financed through high income but also high spending. Meanwhile, Lisa lived modestly while systematically investing in rental properties. 20 years later, Mark still works demanding hours to maintain his lifestyle, while Lisa enjoys complete financial freedom with passive income exceeding her former salary. What makes the Japanese approach distinctive isn't just about choosing appreciating assets, it's about the patience and consistency applied to wealth building. Rather than chasing high-risk, high-return investments, the focus is on steady accumulation through boring but reliable vehicles. This doesn't mean avoiding all financial risks. Rather, it suggests evaluating investments through the lens of long-term stability rather than short-term gains. Ask yourself, will this asset likely be valuable in 20 years? Rather than, will this make me rich quickly? This perspective naturally guides you toward investments with enduring value. For Americans, adapting this principle, it might mean allocating resources to income-producing real estate, dividend-growing stocks, or building a business with recurring revenue, while maintaining a lifestyle free from the pressure to display wealth through consumption. Rachel, a healthcare professional in Denver, embraced this silent wealth approach after realizing her increasing income wasn't improving her financial security. She redirected resources from status purchases to investments in index funds and a small apartment building. 5 years later, her net worth has tripled, while her stress has decreased dramatically. What aspects of your financial strategy are focused on building visible success versus silent wealth? Are you allocating resources toward assets that will likely appreciate over decades? I'd love to hear your thoughts on balancing enjoyment today with building wealth for tomorrow. Let me share one final insight that brings it all together. The Japanese approach to money isn't just about saving more. It's about creating harmony between your finances and your values. While American financial advice often focuses on restraint and sacrifice, the Japanese model offers something deeper: alignment. Think about how you would feel if every dollar you earned and spent was perfectly aligned with what was truly important to you. Imagine the peace that comes from having enough savings to weather life's inevitable challenges. Consider the freedom to make purchases without feeling guilty because they reflect your true priorities, not impulses or societal pressures. This is the true gift of Japanese financial philosophy. Not just more wealth, but more security. Money becomes a source of security and empowerment rather than stress and restriction. As you consider implementing these principles, remember that transformation begins with a single step. You don't have to change your entire financial life overnight. Start with an activity that works best for you. Perhaps start a simple Kakeibo journal to track your spending with greater awareness. Or take a look at your home and consider which assets truly enhance your life versus those that create clutter. Maybe have a frank conversation with your partner about assigning clearer financial responsibilities. Whatever you choose, see it not as a restriction, but as an opportunity to create greater alignment between your resources and values. The Japanese model shows us that financial discipline, when practiced consciously, creates freedom rather than restriction. I'd love to hear which of these principles resonates most with you. Which one do you plan to implement first? Your insights may be just what other viewers need to hear to start their own financial transformation. If you find these ideas valuable, please give me a heart and subscribe. I'd love to receive them, and they'll motivate me to bring more valuable videos to you. Remember, true financial happiness isn't measured by the size of your bank account, but by the alignment of your resources and your values. By bringing greater purpose to how you earn, save, and spend, you'll not only create wealth, but also happiness.